Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 576. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today, we're going to be doing a rebroadcast of one of our most downloaded and impactful episodes from March of 2024, titled What Every Entrepreneur Can Learn from Wawa Convenience Stores. Now, let's get ready for today's show content. What every entrepreneur can learn from the Wawa convenience stores. Now, many of you may be saying, what the hell is Wawa? But if you live in the Philadelphia or greater metropolitan area, Wawa is the preeminent convenience store chain. Now, it's almost gathered like a cult-like following because it has such fresh food, it's very convenient, and the stores always look nice. So today I'm going to give you 7 lessons that you can learn from the Wawa convenience stores. And I'm also going to show you how you can implement them in your business. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, man, Jay, my business has nothing to do with convenience stores, but you're going to be happily surprised because any enterprise that grows from a mom and pop business to over 988 locations and $13 billion a year in revenue has some things that they do successfully. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So 13 billion with a B. They're the #9 convenience store chain in the country. So before we get to that content, though, let me just share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links such as the new, revised, revamped BEB Academy, which is our online learning portal. We have online group coaching. We have collaboration with other BEB members, and it's designed to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. So go to newbebacademy.com for more information. Now, let's get ready for today's show. So I just gave you a little background on the history of the Wawa convenience store chain, but I want to go a little more in depth so you can actually see the trajectory from a mom and pop business all the way to a $1 billion business. And the crazy thing is, guys, they're continuing to grow. So one of the great things about Wawa is the way that they've morphed and they've changed and grown, and it's very strategic. And I'm going to give you the 7 things that you can learn from Wawa convenience stores. And we're going to start, though, with the history of Wawa. So here's the abridged version of Wawa. In 1902, George Wood founded the Wawa Dairy in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. And let me tell you why the store is called Wawa, because it was actually founded in a town called Wawa, Pennsylvania, W-A-W-A. So that's where the name comes from. So in 1902, a man named George Wood founded the Wawa Dairy in Delaware County, PA. And what he basically was doing, he was bottling fresh milk products from his cows. Now, the dairy produced and delivered certified Wawa milk to the doorsteps of homes throughout the Philadelphia area. So if you're old enough, in the cities, I remember when I was a little boy, I barely remember this, we used to have a milkman that would deliver milk on our doorsteps. In April of 1964, the first Wawa food market opened in Folsom, Pennsylvania. And by 1969, the first stores in New Jersey and Delaware opened. Now, in 1970, Wawa stores were selling pre-made hoagies. And for you guys outside of the Philadelphia region, a hoagie is what you would call a hero or a sub sandwich. But in Philly and surrounding areas, it's called a hoagie. So in 1970, he was selling pre-made hoagies and sandwiches. But in 1972, this is one great innovation, they transitioned to built-to-order Wawa sandwiches. And they actually separated the deli from the checkout counter to make even speedier service. Okay, so a lot of times you have one checkout and you go to the checkout and then you have to order your sandwich. It would take them time to make it. So what they did was they separated that whole deli section or made to order section, and you would go in, you would buy your stuff, and then you would come over to the rest of the checkout. In 1982, they followed the built-to-order hoagies with hot foods like meatballs. Now, in 1992, Wawa introduced the Shorty hoagie. Now, Shorty is only like a 6-inch hoagie, okay? And now they also start holding its first hoagie day back in Philadelphia at City Hall. So on Hoagie Day, you could go in and get like a free or discounted hoagie from any Wawa. So that's been going on, guys, for 4 decades. So they're very innovative. In 2002, Wawa introduced its famous touchscreen ordering kiosk in all the stores. So remember I said that the deli was separate from the rest of the store. So you can go up and on one side of the store, they had all these touch screens where you can custom create your made to order hoagie. If you want mayo, oil, you want both, lettuce, tomatoes, whatever you want on it, it's a touch screen. Then it would have upsells on there. Do you want extra meat? Do you want extra whatever? But that way, everything was systematized. So now you had the 4 or 5 people working in the back, and the orders were coming up from the touch screen. It's no more, hey, I would like this, and somebody writing it down. So once again, very innovative. And that was in 2002. Now, between 2010 and 2012, Wawa expanded their built-to-order foods, and they started doing beverages with smoothies, frozen cappuccinos, specialty drinks like lattes, macchiatos, and hot chocolate. And so now, in 2012, they also started opening another market, which they're in Florida right now. I know my in-laws have a second home in West Palm Beach, and I know there's a couple of Wawas around there. And in 2020, they saw a whole new path to convenience open up with Wawa because now they have delivery and curbside pickup, which launched nationwide. And so Wawa, guys, has been super innovative. But I wanted to give you a foundation of what Wawa is, where it started, and where it is right now. Once again, over 988 locations. This is started by a mom and pop with a dairy farm. Over $13 billion with a B in annual revenues, and they're very customer friendly. So, you know, like if you go to Chick-fil-A and everybody is super nice, that's the same thing with Wawa. Now, we do have other convenience store chains in the Philly metro area, but one that I tell you is not prevalent at all is 7-Eleven. And the reason is Wawa has blown them out of the water. 7-Eleven's been closing like crazy because they can't deal with the freshness of the food, the convenience, and the atmosphere. Now, 7-Elevens, most of them are franchise owned, so they don't necessarily have the resources. You go in there and you get your food, all the food is pre-done, pre-made. It's not made to order. Most of the stores are small, and many of them don't have gas stations. So Wawa now has implemented where all their new stores, which they build, they don't usually buy anything, they build from ground up, have gas stations, and they also have e-chargers, electric chargers. They have a partnership with Tesla. So when you go to a Wawa, it is a totally different experience than going to a 7-Eleven. So we really don't have 7-Elevens here. Also, I'll liken it to something else. I got one of my best friends is from New York, and he always talks about New York pizza. And he's like, why would I go to Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's when New York has the best pizza? Same thing with Philly when it comes to hoagies and cheesesteaks. There's no Subways. You can barely find a Subway sandwich shop anywhere in Philly because you got hoagie shops and cheesesteak shops on every corner. And that's kind of how Wawa has dominated the convenience store market. It's funny because my oldest daughter's fiance now is from New York, and he had never seen a Wawa before, but every time he comes, he loves it. So it's almost like a cult following because it's open 24 hours a day. It's always clean, always well lit. You have made to order 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You got gas. You got everything that you need. So now we're going to talk about what you can learn from Wawa, and then I'm going to give you 7 takeaways that you can implement in your own business. The first thing I want you guys to understand or learn from Wawa is production. Now, remember in the story, Wawa was a dairy farm. They produced their own milk. Okay, they manufactured and produced their own milk. One of the issues or problems with us specifically is we don't manufacture anything. Okay, and I understand getting into manufacturing is hard, but there's a thing called light manufacturing. So I talked years ago about a popsicle business where you can manufacture your own popsicles by literally buying a deep freezer and different utensils where you can create the popsicles. And now you can go freeze the popsicles and then you can manufacture the popsicles. Very simple, light manufacturing. There are other things that you can manufacture that are light also. It could be cookies or whatever you want. You look at a company called Insomnia Cookies. They're a big company. I think they were started in Philadelphia, and they're all over the place. All they do basically is manufacture and sell cookies with pre-made dough. Auntie Anne's Pretzels, they're manufacturers, meaning they create the products that they sell. So that's one thing, production. We need to start understanding and learning that, hey, we need to be producers, not just the consumers. So when you can control production, you can control everything else in the vertical. And speaking of vertical, the next thing that you can learn from Wawa is distribution. And I'm going to give you the first iteration of distribution and then a second iteration. The first iteration of distribution was Wawa was delivering the milk directly to homes. So they had the production facility where they produced the milk from the cows, and then their distribution was a delivery system directly to the homes. They had their fleet of trucks, little milk trucks that would go around and they would deliver. That's their first iteration. What they found out was it actually made more sense, and the economics was better if they created their own distribution locations. So what they did is they changed distribution to store locations, and they also increased the average order, providing additional products to sell. Okay, so they sold other products like Dunkin' Donuts and Dunkin' Coffee in the actual Wawa stores. So you can learn distribution from Wawa. The first iteration, we're going to produce and we're going to distribute, and we're going to use our resources delivered directly to your home. The transformation or second iteration, which became more economically friendly for them, was, you know what? That's costing a whole lot of money. Let's put up a location, a distribution point where now people can come in and buy their milk. But in addition to buying their milk, we're going to have other products or services that they can buy, which is going to increase the average order value. Okay. Now let's talk about vertical integration. I talked about production and distribution. So probably in the late 90s, you didn't see Dunkin' Donuts coffee or Dunkin' Donuts physical donuts in Wawa stores anymore. So you used to come in the stores, there'd be a case, and there would be a case that said Dunkin' Donuts, and it'd have all the donuts in there. And then right beside that, they would have Dunkin' Coffee, and where you can go and get your own coffee. So in the early to mid 90s, they stopped offering Dunkin' products, and they created their own donuts, and they created their own coffee, which people love. Now, let's get this understanding straight. They're not in the back making donuts, right? What they did was they contracted out with a donut manufacturer, and they labeled the donuts Wawa Donuts versus Dunkin' Donuts. And if you go to any supermarket, it's called private label. So if you go to a Giant or an Acme, a ShopRite, wherever you shop, and you see Walmart, right? I forgot what Walmart's brand is called, but they have their own house brand. So any supermarket or major retail chain has their own brand. Now, they don't sit there and manufacture it. They contract out with manufacturers to be able to put their name on it, their label, which is called private labeling. So now Wawa has private labeled their donuts, And what normally happens is when you go direct to the manufacturer, your cost is better, which obviously increases your profitability. Okay. So their second iteration of distribution now was branding things in their name. So you go and you can go buy Wawa iced tea. Now they do manufacture their own iced teas, their teas and stuff. But just like any other major chain, they have their house brand. I think Walmart's is Great Value. So anytime you buy Great Value products, that's a Walmart branded product. Okay. So we're talking about what you can learn from Wawa. We talked about production, and I just gave you two distribution items: delivering the milk, the first iteration, and the second distribution iteration was they changed the distribution from going out delivering milk to having people come to them. Okay. I talked about vertical integration, creating their own coffee and donuts to sell, cutting out Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I'm friends with a manager at one of the Wawa locations, and he told me years ago, he said they almost doubled their profitability on the donuts by bringing them in-house. And so when you're talking about a store, if you're not familiar with Wawa, these stores, I don't care what time of day it is, they are always packed. And I'm going to give you a couple of takeaways, 7 takeaways about Wawa and their business model, but they are always packed. They're always packed in the morning. People going to work. They get their coffee. They get their gas. They get good, fresh food. And so they're always packed in the morning. They're packed at lunchtime. People get off, get out for lunch. They may want a hoagie or a salad or a hot sandwich. Their food is very good. Or they're coming in at night. They don't feel like cooking. Or you're out at night, you're partying or whatever. It's 3 or 4 in the morning. You want to grab something to eat. You can always go to a Wawa 24/7, 365. They do not close, not even on Christmas Day, New Year's Day. It's consistency. You always know what you're going to get when you go to a Wawa. Okay. Now, innovation. That's another thing that you can learn from Wawa. But they separate their made-to-order food from the rest of the stores, and they separated themselves from the different convenience store chains. Like I said, we don't even go to 7-Eleven around here. You go to 7-Eleven, it's ridiculous, because the only reason you may have gone to 7-Eleven is for a lottery ticket. For a while, Wawa didn't sell lottery tickets like Powerball and stuff like that. And so that would be like the only time I would go in if I bought a lottery ticket is 7-Eleven, because the stores are small. They don't have a lot of the capitalization behind it, because most of them are franchise locations. They sell pre-made food. And yeah, it's a totally different ball game. Okay. And as for innovation, I talked about earlier how they separated their deli, right? Brilliant. It's a genius idea. So you go to the kiosk, you type in whatever you want on your hoagie. Now, trust me, they got more than hoagies. They got all types of food, salad bowls. They got pizza. They got hamburger, anything you want. You go type it in. Then it'll print it out. You go up and grab your other stuff. You go to the checkout register. You pay for your hoagie that they're making. And then you take the slip. They'll stamp it paid. And then you pay for your other stuff, and then you go back and you get your hoagie in and out. All right. Now, you may have to wait a little because a lot of times they are super crowded, but it's innovation. Okay. So also in terms of innovation, in addition to that, they started putting or building all of their stations with gas. Now, a lot of the older Wawas, if you're really in the city or downtown somewhere, you're not going to have room to build a gas station. So what happens is I think they need an acre of land. I believe that's what the manager told me, in order to build a full-size Wawa. They do have the smaller ones in the city, but anything that they're building and constructing, it normally now has a gas station attached to it, unless it's right in the city. Okay. So very innovative. They're always thinking ahead. And I want you guys to understand this. They started out delivering milk. They were a dairy farm. Now they are a multi-billion-dollar corporation with thousands of employees, 988 locations as of the end of 2023, and continuing to grow and expand. They're actually going into new markets, and they found a formula. And this is something I want you guys to think about. They found a formula that works, right? They found a unique selling proposition. They created or carved out a space in the market, and they're taking that and they're continuing to duplicate it. And that's what we need to understand and learn as entrepreneurs. Where's your unique selling proposition? Where do you fit in the landscape of the market? And how can you duplicate and leverage that to scale your business? One thing I want you guys to do, just Google Wawa, right? Or go to their website, wawa.com, but Google them and you'll be able to read the true history and the long and great history. I always tell people, I said, this is one of the greatest companies that I have ever seen, because I interact with them damn near every day or every other day. I'll get gas from them, or I'll go in and grab something to eat, and they understand what their unique proposition is, their unique sales proposition. And let me give you 7 takeaways from the Wawa story. All right. Number 1, Wawa understands what they are selling. They understand what they are selling. They are selling convenience, not price. There's a reason these type of stores are called convenience stores, because they're not based on pricing. They're based on convenience. And guess what? People will pay for convenience. And it's funny because my girls will tell you this all the time. You know, Dad always says, I don't mind paying for convenience. That's right. They understand what they're selling. They're selling convenience. If you want the cheapest water, you better go bottle of water. You better go to Walmart or something. You're not going to get it out of Wawa. But once again, they're strategically located and they're in high traffic areas. So they know geographically they're supposed to, or they should get traffic and perform the way they should perform. So that's takeaway number 1. Takeaway number 2, Wawa understands who they're selling to. They're selling to people going to work who need a good quality meal, food, and gas. They also have clean, customer-friendly stores. So they understand who they're selling to. So every morning, Wawa is packed. They do thousands of customers out of each location a day. I should have asked my man how many customers they get a day. But they understand who they're selling to. You got the rush hour crowd in the morning. You got the lunch crowd. Then you got the after work dinner crowd. And then you have the late night crowd, people that have been partying or they work different shifts. They're always open, but they understand. They've changed their food now to add dinner food. Before, they would normally just sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches, hoagies and stuff like that. And now they have more dinner food like hamburgers and pizza. And one of the things I will say about Wawa, they'll try stuff, and if the response is not good, they'll pull it back. Okay. Now, I'll be honest with you. I tried their hamburger one time and it tasted like meatloaf. Now, I don't know if they've changed it or not, but one of the things that Wawa does is they don't have a physical grill. So everything is done with convection ovens. So if you have a physical grill, that means you need an exhaust, and it's a totally different permitted type thing. So if you're in the city of Philadelphia and you're in the bottom of an apartment building, it's going to be super hard to have like a grill there. It's going to be expensive. So Wawa cooks with convection ovens, okay, microwaves and convection ovens. So you're not going to see, them frying cheese. That's why they don't sell cheesesteaks, because you're not going to see a grill in there. Takeaway number 3, Wawa understands the economies of scale, okay? So by controlling vertical integration from the production, the shipping, and the distribution. Oh, I forgot to tell you too, Wawa has its own big delivery trucks. With 988 locations, it makes sense to control your own distribution. So you'll see 18-wheelers with the Wawa logo and the wording on the trucks. My brother-in-law, my sister's former husband, used to be a driver for Wawa. And so the benefits start day one. So it's a great company into and of itself. The benefits start day one. They have great pay. A lot of the managers are making over 6 figures easily. Now, once again, it's retail, so your hours are going to be crazy. But they really pour into their employees. And I know it may sound like a thankless job. Oh, you work at Wawa or you're a manager at Wawa, but they actually pay very well. So economies of scale, production and distribution of their products, owning the product and distributing the product to the end user. That's number 3, understanding the economies of scale. The fourth thing that you can take away from Wawa is innovation of order technology. I mentioned the touchscreen for the made-to-order food. They separated that from the checkout line, guys, to increase efficiency. So it ain't what you do, it's how you do it, right? So now you go over, when you first come in, what most people do in Wawa, if they're going to get a made-to-order hoagie, sandwich, or whatever, they're going to go over to the touch kiosk first. They're going to go put that in. It'll spit out a receipt for you right there. And then they'll go get the rest of their food or whatever they're getting. And then they'll go right up to the register. They'll hand the clerk the slip for the takeout. They'll stamp it paid. And then they go wait for their food. Okay, their hoagie, sandwich, whatever, breakfast sandwich, whatever they want. But innovation of order technology, okay? So they were able to make things more efficient. And so if you have a business, that's why systems are so critical to the efficiency and the productivity of your business. So you need to understand how innovation can help you be more profitable. It's just like automotive building. So when Ford started to build the cars in pieces as opposed to, everybody working on one car, somebody does this, then the next station does this, so on and so forth. You see that also in modular home building, where instead of you're putting all the stuff down at the site and your carpenters and everybody come and work on it, you got one guy, all he does is build roofs. The other guy, all they do is build trusses or doors or whatever. And that's the automation or the innovation of technology when it comes to your business. Okay. Now think about artificial intelligence right now. Are you using ChatGPT? Are you using Copilot? Are you using Gemini? Are you using artificial intelligence or innovation to help you become more productive? I know I'm using right now a software called InVideo, INVIDEO.io, to create a lot of my videos. You put in a synopsis and it'll literally create you a video based on what you put in. And then you can go and edit it, change the images, the videos, the pictures, the wording, the text, and all of that stuff. But innovation of order technology. And remember, guys, when I talk about innovation is designed to scale and leverage your business to be more efficient and more profitable. So that's the fourth takeaway, okay? The fifth takeaway you can learn from Wawa is expansion. And the way they expand is systematic, right? So a lot of times people want to expand their business before they're actually ready. So Wawa is always expanding, right? All the new stores, as I mentioned, have gas stations. They introduce new food items like pizza and burgers, and they're expanding to new regions. So expansion, not just the physical expansion, but the expansion of product offerings. How can we maximize this store location to be more profitable? What products or services do our customers need or want that we can deliver in a profitable manner? So you need to always think about expansion. I tell you guys all the time, there's no such thing as standing still as an entrepreneur. You're either going forward or you're going backward. If you're going to stay status quo from where you are, if you're staying in the same place for a year, guess what? People are going to pass you by. Okay? You have to understand that you need to always move forward. So number 5, expansion. Number 6 takeaway from Wawa, additional revenue streams. Additional revenue streams. So Wawa Inc., and I'm going to read this, has launched its own retail media network called the Goose Media Network. The new retail media network will support customers' convenience store shopping experience in new ways by allowing them to engage with partner brands through custom ads and campaign across a variety of digital channels. So there are ads on the gas pumps outside. There's signage out front. You have ads on the inside of the boards where you can order. And so once again, they're adding or creating additional revenue streams by something that they're already doing. And a lot of times, guys, we sleep on this, right? And I'll use the simple example of affiliate products. So if you're an entrepreneur and you have your business, and I'm going to use the example of just say a fitness trainer, right? So you're already making your money, you're training people, and you're making your revenue that way. You've built up your database because you've been listening to Jay Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. So your database is your most important thing that you have in your business. And this physical trainer says, you know what? I need some additional revenue streams. Instead of creating my own supplement brand, I'm going to send out an email to all of my clients, everybody in my database, and I'm going to offer them an affiliate link to this great supplement that is going to help them lose weight. Okay? All you're literally doing is sending out an email to your database with an affiliate link, which basically does all the work with a video sales letter. And when you sell that supplement to your customer base of thousands of people, then guess what? You've created additional revenue streams. And that's something that Wawa has done with this retail media network. So now one of the things they can do is they can go to some of their partners like 5 Hour Energy or whoever, say, hey, we have this network now where you can advertise your product right here in front of all of our captive customers. Our millions upon millions of customers that we get each day, you can connect directly with them. So think about additional revenue streams. And it doesn't have to be something crazy like you creating a whole brand new product. You can look at affiliate offers, where you can have something that's synergistic to your business and then create that additional revenue stream very simply. Now, I just did an episode about 2 to 3 weeks ago about a case study where I was doing affiliate marketing, and the thing has been growing and growing and growing. So if you're looking for additional revenue streams, make sure you check out that episode where I talk about making over $1,000 in like 10 days with affiliate marketing. Okay. And what we're talking about today, guys, is what every entrepreneur can learn from the Wawa convenience stores. And takeaway number 1, Wawa understands what they're selling. Takeaway number 2, Wawa understands who they're selling to. They understand their customer base. Number 3, they understand the economies of scale by controlling the whole vertical from production to distribution to the end user. Number 4, the innovation of order technology and just innovation in general. Number 5, expansion. They're always looking to expand. Number 6, I just talked about additional revenue streams. And number 7 is control. Control. And when you're an entrepreneur, control is very important. Wawa is a privately owned company. Now, they do have an ESOP plan, employee stock option plan, where employees own a 40% stake in the company, but it is privately owned. They're not on NASDAQ. They're not on the New York Stock Exchange. So they built a $13 billion company from a mom and pop dairy farm that is completely controlled by the family. It's privately owned. Now, the employees have stock options, but they have no say-so in the direction of the company. Okay. And the rest of the stock is owned by family members and executives. So Wawa is a privately held company. They control it. No board of directors, outside board of directors is going to say, hey, you're fired. Everything is internal. And when you have control, you can move and do things as you see fit, right? So you're not beholden to an outside board or your stock prices. Obviously, you want your stock prices to continue to rise. And it's almost like UPS, which is privately held. And a lot of drivers for UPS retire millionaires because they have an ESOP program, employee stock ownership program. But they're privately held companies. So that control is key. And coming from the beginnings of a mom and pop business, being able to come and create a $13 billion business a year. And here's the beauty of it, guys. They're not even thinking about stopping. They're expanding in all types of different regions. And they're not just expanding. Every time they grow, they're trying to make it better and better, learning from what they've done, the feedback they get from the customers, and then trying to make their business better. Before I get to the last segment of the show, guys, let me just give you my social media contact information and resource links super quick. Everything I'm about to tell you is on the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. You can go there and you'll find everything I'm about to tell you. If you're lazy, take the shortcut, go to bebconnect.com. So I mentioned at the top of the show, the new revised, revamped BEB Academy. Guys, go to newbebacademy.com. Check out the short video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the academy for live group coaching. We have courses and we have collaboration, which is the most important thing. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, anything long, family, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, JAYJONES @blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES 001. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is jjones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. LinkedIn, guys, connect with me there. Go to LinkedIn, type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, YouTube, family, make sure you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And for all you first-time listeners, make sure that you subscribe wherever you're listening to this or watching this. Make sure you subscribe. We drop every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to get new heat from J Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. So please subscribe. That way you'll be alerted to anything new that's coming up and when the show drops. Now, let's get ready for the last segment of the show, which is going to be super short. Okay? So the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is vision. And I tell people all the time, everything that started, all your major companies, be it Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, they started with a vision. It was an idea before it became anything else. And so is the same thing true with Wawa. It was a man that had a dairy farm that sold milk. Think about that. In 1902, George Wood had a dairy farm and a vision. And from 1902 until now, 2024, he's built that company and transformed it into a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar company with 988 locations and growing, thousands of employees, and it's privately owned. So when you tell people, or let me say this, you have to be very diligent when you tell people your dreams. Because there are people out there that are not going to understand your visions and your dreams. And the reason is those visions and dreams weren't given to them. So guard your visions and your dreams very carefully and share it with people that only you think need to know it. Because a lot of times what's going to happen is people are going to dissuade you, not necessarily on purpose, but they're going to think that your visions and dreams are out of this world. Now, I'm not saying that George Wood knew that he was going to build a conglomerate, but what I am going to tell you is if he did not start it, it definitely wouldn't be here. And that's one of the things that I want you guys to really understand and think about. If you're not an entrepreneur yet and you're thinking about it, go ahead and make the jump. I'm not saying quit your job, but start working on your business because you never know where it's going to lead. Okay? I guarantee you, this guy's over there milking cows, delivering milk. He never thought about 988 locations and billions of dollars a year in revenues. But it all starts from that seed, that dream, that vision that somebody has. So don't let anybody take your vision from you and cultivate that dream, cultivate that vision. A lot of times entrepreneurs, we're wantrepreneurs. We want this, but it has to have action behind it to make it come to fruition. So stop BSing around. Stop wasting your time doing stuff that's not going to be productive. It's not moving you from point A to point B. And focus, man. Focus, test things out, try things, because you never know. You might just be the next big thing, or your business just might be the next big thing. Now, your aspirations may not be to be a $1 billion business. You may have aspirations that you just want to be a 6-figure business. You may just want to make $5,000 a month on the side. Whatever that is, don't let anybody dissuade you from going after it, because it's all about the gifts that you've been giving and how you use those gifts, your creativity. Remember, you're given a dream and a vision, not your wife, not your husband, not your partner, not your brother, not your sister, not your mother, not your father. You are given specific dreams and visions. And why the hell wouldn't you try to live them out? I'm not saying quit your job today, guys, but if you have any inkling of becoming an entrepreneur, I'm telling you right now, this is the best time to do it. The technology, the ability to interact with people, resources, the connectivity. You know, back in the day when I started, I had to pay for newspaper ads, radio ads, and all of that. Now you can create a social media account for free and build an audience. So if you're thinking about it, guys, stop playing games. Go ahead and do something. I always say there's 6 letters and 3 little words. To be, do. To be, do. To be a successful entrepreneur, you have to do something. You have to put action behind it. To be a successful whatever you want to do, then you have to put the action behind it. So stop playing games. And if you're already an entrepreneur, it's time to level up. It's time to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. You're not going to get where you need to get to if you're not investing in yourself. So make sure you invest in yourself. And I'm going to leave you guys at that. Now, I say this each and every week because it's true, guys. We get more and more downloads because of the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to share the podcast. That's what I really want to ask you guys that. Share the podcast with 3 people that you think would enjoy what the BEB platform is all about. Just 3 people. Send them a link or whatever. If you can continue to share so we can continue to grow to get this good word out here. And once again, we get more and more downloads because of you. I truly appreciate it. The podcast, the whole BEB ecosystem, it's all designed, guys, to help elevate your entrepreneur IQ and help you live the life that you're destined to live. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.